Hello everybody, it's Delilah and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is so requested. I feel like I say that every time, but every single time I ask you guys what you want me to talk about, I get a lot of questions about budgeting and how we have survived on a single income. A lot of these questions kind of came in when Zach got laid off back in February last year, almost a year ago. I want to start this off by saying that we are in no way experts. We honestly don't know what we're doing. We have been taught well by our parents on how to spend money wisely, but when it comes to budgeting and finances, we don't really know what we're doing. This isn't at all us telling you what you should do. This is just us saying what we've done. I'm joined by my husband today because finances for us is a two-person thing. For us, we believe in a marriage. It's not just up to one person, it's up to both people, and he knows a lot about the financial side that I'm kind of unaware of and clueless to. So I went over to Instagram and I got you guys to just ask me some questions, things that you have been wanting to know or wondering about. And there was a lot of confusion when I said surviving on a single income, because we are no longer on a single income. I said single income because for a very long time, from the time I went on maternity leave with Eloise to a few months ago, in about September when you got your job, right?
Yeah.
For those like 2.5 years, we were living on a single income. For part of that, Zach was even laid off. So we have a good experience living on a single income. We are now living on dual income. So just to clear up any confusion, there's also confusion about what my job is. My job is YouTube. I get paid through YouTube and other various sources through social media. Zach is a journeyman electrician now. He didn't used to be. He only became a journeyman
March
this
last year.
His wage used to be a lot smaller than it is right now. We've been through some ups and some downs and have experienced a bunch, and so I feel like we've got some good experience to talk on this topic, but don't take our word for it. In the year 2020, we want to kind of take a hold of our finances and kind of be more aware of our spending, because in the past we really have never budgeted. We do have a financial advisor who is really great at helping us save money.
Invest properly.
Invest. I've been trying to educate myself a little bit more on this topic to be more aware of how we're spending our money. I've been using Skillshare to do that. Huge thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. Skillshare is an online learning community that offers courses and classes to help you learn anything you want to learn. Classes on photography, productivity, starting your own online business, budgeting, financing, and so much more. One thing I love about Skillshare is that you can actually find people who are interested in the same topics that you're interested in. For me, where we live, it's hard to find people to talk to about YouTube and starting an online business. So it's nice to be able to go to Skillshare to chat about these things with other people who are also really interested in the topics that I'm interested in. Skillshare offers classes that are designed for real life, so you can learn and educate yourself in between your busy schedule. I can go and watch a 5-minute video while I cook supper. I could go and watch a 10-minute video while I'm folding laundry. Workshops, at least from my own experience, I know that they can cost like hundreds of dollars to attend, and you attend for a few days, you learn everything you need to learn, and that's it.
Now it's like this is where I was sitting. Can you even see my face? That's just brutal.
We gotta adjust this. You could just sit like this.
Okay, keep saying, keep talking, keep saying. I'm just gonna sit here like this.
You can't even see your face or that you're smiling.
You see my eyes.
Anyways, with Skillshare, you can learn anything you want to, whenever you want to. You can watch it over and over and over again. I can't. And it only costs you $10 a month. $10 a month to learn everything you want to learn. Where are you going?
Just back here.
I've been watching Modern Money Habits, 5 Steps to Build the Life You Want by Justin Bridges. After watching this video, I was actually surprised to know that we were implementing a lot of the things that he was talking about, but I also came away with a lot of ideas and advice. I learned a bit, but also was reassured that we were doing the right things. Skillshare is giving you guys 2 months of premium membership. Skillshare is giving you 2 months of premium membership. Skillshare is giving away 2 months.
Do I need to help you with this? Please?
Skillshare is giving away 2 months of premium membership. If you go down, click the link in the description box. I said click the link.
Click the link. Oh, honey, this is painful.
Skillshare is giving away 2 months of premium membership.
Click the link.
Did I really say that? Skillshare is giving away 2 months of premium membership if you click the link in the description box below, and after that it's only about $10 a month.
All the videos we've watched and tutorials of how to do like proper setting up for
Yeah,
interviews and lighting techniques and soft boxes and reflectors and everything, now it's just like
BRB. We're back. Let's pull up the questions. You guys asked a lot of good questions. Do you save first, then budget the rest, or do you pay for everything first, then save what's left? I feel like this is a question suited for you.
I would say that we budget first, save after, because with all of the different incomes that we've had, the way you budget and save is different in different amounts. I would say you budget first, or we have, and then save after that to know how much you can save for. And for us now, since we've done that budgeting stage, it's just comes off of our checks before we even see it, because you have to budget in order to save, but once you have that set, then we save first because we know how much we can save.
It comes right off our check. Every single time. Let's just ignore the fact that I have a raspberry stain on my white shirt. What's the best way to stop impulse purchases? This is something I struggle with. Don't go to the places where you are most tempted. If it's online shopping that's bad for you, try to avoid being online. If your temptations are worse when you're walking through a mall, try to limit your window shopping because temptation will be there and you will impulse buy. For me, when I stopped shopping fast fashion, I had to really avoid the mall. I had to avoid the clothing section at Walmart. You know, places where I didn't want to buy an impulse buy because there was a sale. I really needed to stop that, and to avoid that, I just avoided it altogether. Also, have an accountability partner.
Wait, I'm good at saying no.
We communicate a lot when it comes to purchasing, spending. A lot of the time, I will, before I buy something, message Zach and say, hey, I found this cool thing. What do you think? And he's usually like, no. It's disappointing every time you say no, but it does help me not spend money. I do the same for him though. There's a lot of times I have told you no. Do you guys have a plan for saving for retirement?
We have a retirement savings plan. Every month after the budgeting stage, we put money into that. We've put it on hold before with different circumstances, with me going to school and kind of depending on our income, but for the most part throughout our marriage, we've contributed something to it.
Oh, and the video that I watched about this talks about compound interest. I'll leave the video linked below, but it talks a lot about that and explains a lot of it. And for me, it was really good to watch that and to understand it, because we go through a financial advisor who invests our money for us and takes care of that stuff for us, so a lot of the stuff kind of goes over my head. Tip number 1, get a financial advisor. Oh no, Theo's waking up.
Yeah, I think he's stuck between the wall and the bed.
Okay, go get him. Theo sleeps in our bed and he likes to wiggle himself in between the bed and the wall in that crack, and then he gets stuck. In Canada, you have free healthcare. What would you have done if it was not free?
Definitely would have been in the budgeting stage. We would have taken that into consideration.
Yeah, we would have definitely made like our emergency fund a lot bigger, or we would have had another account for like healthcare. We would have bought an insurance. Yeah. Of course, we have benefits through Zach's work, but that covers things like dental, like the optometrist, a massage every once in a while, stuff like that. So we definitely would have budgeted more for it, but also we do pay for healthcare in a way through our taxes. That's how healthcare is free here. It's paid through our taxes. So I feel like we would have had a little bit more in the budget if we weren't paying for it with taxes. Does that make sense? How do you plan your budget? Do you use apps, spreadsheets, writing down, etc.? Like we said in the beginning of the video, we don't really budget. We never really have kept a strict budget, but every once in a while we will collect every single receipt from every purchase throughout the month. At the end of the month, we go through all the receipts, we add them all up, categorize them, and see where we have been spending our money. So to do that, we usually just write it down on paper. We don't use any apps. We don't really do any of that. We just see where we are every once in a while and see what needs adjusting. If some areas we can spend a little bit more, some areas we need to spend less and be more aware of. For us, budgeting is kind of stressful, or at least it is for me. Like if we were to keep a strict budget, like we could only spend this much on groceries this month, I would find that to be really stressful. We're just very mindful. We don't really budget. We keep track of our receipts, like you said, and we kind of keep ourselves accountable for what we're spending that month, just to get ourselves back on track and have an idea of what we spend every now and again. And then from there, just having a good idea of that,
not
remembering that when we go to spend money, and just being mindful of how we spend our money and where the money's going. When on a budget, how do you avoid feeling guilty for every purchase?
We do feel guilty every purchase, even if there is extra money for something. Like when we invested into a better camera,
Sorry, I need to adjust this. Continue talking.
we had that in mind and saved for it, but it still felt guilty to spend that much money.
Even when we go grocery shopping, we're like, oh, that's so much money. It's not a bad thing to feel guilty. It keeps you accountable.
I think it would be worse if you never felt guilty about spending money.
Did you say stealing money or did you say spending money? Because you should feel guilty about stealing money.
Did I?
I think you did.
Did I?
I think you said stealing money.
Oh man, this
Where
is quite
your
the
head?
video. Definitely feel guilty about stealing.
How can you save on a single income?
Can be related back to keeping track of your receipts and adjusting as your income adjusts, because that's literally all we've done.
There have been times in our life when we haven't been able to save and we've had to stop saving for a short period of time, but making it a priority when the budget allowed.
Yeah, or getting back on track after that. I think our main budgeting technique is just to check and see what you're spending once in a while. If you're going off track and you do that check every once in a while, you'll catch yourself. But if you don't check every once in a while what you're spending, it can easily slip away and you have no idea. You just kind of keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, and then find yourself in debt. I mean, we've never gotten to that point, but that's because we're on top of it. Tips for beginners on a smaller income.
I would say start seeing what you spend and see where areas can be adjusted, what you can put away. And I think we've always made a point of trying to save, no matter if it was like $10 a month, we still made that point to put something away.
Yeah, just because it's in your account, don't go and spend it. Groceries on a budget. I think this was my most asked question. I've got so many of these questions and I am not the person to ask, I'll be honest. That's an area I need to grow in and I need to get better in. I did film a video a while back. It was like a grocery haul / how we save our money. I think I calculated we spent about $21 a day at that point in time on groceries. I will leave that video linked below. In that video, I went over a lot of the tips and the things that we do. Most of it is just creating a list and making sure that I'm not buying anything that's not on that list that will end up being wasted or is unnecessary. When it comes to like price checking and coupons and that kind of stuff, I don't do that. I find it to be really stressful and something that I just don't want to do, to be honest. If I didn't work, like maybe I would do it, but like
I think you do to a certain extent, because when you see something, you always look at what it is per kilogram or something and you compare two different ones and say, oh, this is 86 cents a kilogram and this one's 94 cents. So you always...
When it's side by side in the store, I'll do that. But like from store to store, I don't.
No,
that is a lot of work. Budgeting while still getting good quality food and not compromising on the environment. This is a tough one. And for us, it's been kind of a sacrifice we've had to make. Up until about now, only now are we starting to really look more into quality food, better food for the environment, better quality meat. For example, meat that has, what's the word? Meat that has been ethically, humanely. Yeah, I don't know what the word is.
Obviously we have no idea what we're doing. It's a work in progress.
It's one of those things that we have just had to sacrifice. We have eaten a lot of non-organic, poor quality foods in the last few years, and that's just something that we had to do.
It's very expensive.
It's really expensive.
It's
especially
probably
in Canada.
About double price. You're buying, like, for example, like $25 at Costco, a pack of chicken breasts. You get a lot, and then you spend $25 and you get like 3 little chicken breasts here, when you could get
at a local
if it's like a local raised chicken or whatever, you can use it's like $28 for 3 little chicken breasts or $25 for like a massive pack that's like
3 meals worth of chicken.
Yeah, so it's like it's really expensive.
But it's an important thing that we are trying to
as much as we
budget
can.
in.
3 packs of 3 would be $75 for 9 pieces of chicken.
We would have just had to stop eating chicken.
Yeah, like just the thought of that is like, oh man,
that's a lot of money.
That is expensive.
Yeah, and especially where we live too, because like we don't live in an area where we can grow a garden all year round. We don't live in an area where we can get fresh produce, and we don't live close to a sea, so we can't get fresh seafood, and it's hard to get everything here, and the cost of getting everything here makes it more expensive to buy and to eat and live. Really.
In the produce area, even
in everything.
Well, like, meat isn't shipped here. It's raised here, but it's just
some of it.
It's something we're working on, and definitely
Yeah.
trying. I'm definitely for that. God calls us to take care of what He's given to us.
Maybe one day in like a year, I will have a much better answer for you.
Yeah.
How often do you go for outdoor date nights? Because they can be a bit expensive. Yes, they can. Like an average date night would cost at least $100.
Yeah, usually.
If we went out every time. We recently have decided to make it a goal and a priority to have a date night every week. But we only go out once a month. So we're making it a priority to choose one day, once a week, to just focus on us. Put away all other distractions and just focus on us. We could have a movie night. We've been doing like playing a lot of Switch.
We've done board games. Or we've also just had coffee and talked, which is nice.
Go for a drive.
Just quality time together.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be going out. Like, just staying at home. We've even
It is nice to go out though once in a while. That's why we don't
Well,
want to
yeah.
give that up. We want to.
But that's how we budget it, is we only
Yeah.
do it once a month
Mm-hmm.
instead of every week.
Yeah.
We've even put the kids to bed and then made a late supper together.
Oh yeah.
That was a good.
Oh yeah, that was
a good
that
idea.
salmon tortellini. That was
It
good.
was really good. Plus, it makes it that much more special. Is that funny?
Yeah. It's cute how you forget things. You're like, no, slow down.
Been able to afford it. Plus, it makes it that much more special.
Because you'll edit it in a way that it just seems like it was a conversation, but you always like, you'll read it and be like, and then and then you'll like go back.
Yeah.
And then it's like, but you edit it in a way that
I
it's
am
like
not
you just
good
said
with
it.
words, and I have serious mom brain.
So I see all these like little like chops in it. It's like,
It's because there's a really long awkward space in between that chop.
or we messed something up.
How do you budget for activities for you and Zach and the kids? We don't do them very often. Again, that's kind of how we budget it.
We do activities often, but we do
Yeah.
activities like in the summer we really enjoy going for walks or going to the park with Eloise, and all that stuff doesn't cost money. We definitely do lots of activities, but we just try to, I guess if like a movie comes out and we really want to go see it, very often we wait till it's either on Netflix or we can buy it and then we have it instead of spending a bunch of money going to the theater.
But things like the zoo and, indoor play places and stuff,
More of like a specialty
it's
thing.
a special treat once in a
Yeah.
while. How is budgeting different now than from when you first got married? I mean, in some ways it's very similar, but in some ways it's very different.
I think even when we were first married, we still did the month thing where we found out what we were spending in a month and adjusted our spending habits accordingly. Every year when you finish school, or I would get a little bit of a raise, so then we would rebudget and kind of see where we can spend more money like for saving and so forth.
Our lives then very different from now.
Oh,
so like
yeah, we
when
didn't
we
have
first got married, we were living in a basement suite. We were really trying to save for a down payment for a house.
Like,
so
everything went to that.
yeah. Then once we got a house, we had more expenses and more things that we had to like fix and insurances we had to buy, and so budgeting kind of changed again there. I think for a while again we weren't saving.
Yeah.
Because we had all these other expenses until we got on our feet again. Then we started saving. Then I got pregnant.
So you know what? That one answer to that one question then is we budget first. We don't save. Pretty much in all circumstances we're budgeting first and then saving.
Yeah, well we have to, otherwise we wouldn't be
Yeah.
able to afford.
Yeah, you
in
have to
different
budget
situations.
first, yeah, so you can know how much to save for.
But yeah, so we got pregnant with Eloise and I went on maternity leave, so again we stopped saving for a while because single income, and then then you got laid off, but then my YouTube picked up, so then we had different income. Now we're on dual income, and now we're really able to start saving for another down payment for another house. So we've been in a lot of like ups and downs throughout our lives.
Do a formal apology for the video quality of this one.
That's as dark as it gets.
We're just gonna go with it.
Wow. I'm so white.
We're just gonna go with it because we're dealing with the sun situation.
Can I like
Here.
use this somehow?
There.
Now I'm really white. Whoa.
First scene when you're doing your sponsorship, that's about how white you are.
Hey. Do you guys just have one bank account?
Yes.
Yes. It is so much simpler that way.
In our opinion, yeah. I wouldn't say we're very smart when it comes to income and investing and number stuff in that category, because
we don't know what we're doing.
This way, if it's together, it's just one less step for us to do.
Yeah, we
I
don't
think
have
that's
to
the
worry
main
about
thing.
like you pay for the mortgage and I pay
Yeah.
for groceries. It's just, it all comes out of one account.
It's just easier for us.
It's easier because there is no secrets and I can see everything that he's spending, he can see everything that I'm spending.
Can keep each other accountable.
Yeah.
Saying, hey Delilah, why did you spend this much? Why did you spend $104 on kid clothes?
Because the kids needed clothes. How do you plan a budget when you don't know exactly how much you will make from a video? That is a good question. Online income is very
Inconsistent.
inconsistent.
Do we speak English?
I think so. With YouTube, I have no idea how much I'm gonna make every month. It varies every single month, and so big thing that we do is live below our means. We could afford to buy more, we could afford a bigger house, but we don't, because in the off chance that I don't make anything, or if YouTube is suddenly done for whatever reason, we'll still be okay.
I think having that buffer point is very important.
Yeah.
Even, like, we can talk about our circumstance, but I think that can relate to everyone, no matter where you are. Like, don't live check to check, because then you're relying, like, if something happened, if we were living check to check and I got laid off, we would be pretty much screwed because we wouldn't be able to support our living lifestyle along with the bills. We've set through budgeting a pretty safe buffer point to where we can still make all our bills and save and still have a little bit of money to fall back on in case I was laid off. Like you said, it's just important to live in a realistic financial state. When we applied for a house, we went through a mortgage broker and they approved us, like, and this is when we were married a year. We were approved for like a ridiculous like $500 and some thousand.
I wasn't making a whole lot of money at that point.
I wasn't either. I was like a second-year electrician.
I was a baker.
Yeah, like no money. So the mortgage broker approved us for this money that we didn't have. And if we did spend it, we literally would have been like living check to check.
We would have had to sell the house and buy something smaller.
Yeah, and it's kind of scary that mortgage brokers will approve people for that.
Don't go and buy a really expensive car or a really expensive house if you don't
pay-
know how much money you're going to be paid every month.
Don't buy a $500,000 house if the bank says you can.
How Christianity is part of budgeting, financing, and stewarding what God gives us. Very good question. Our faith plays a huge role in how we spend our money and what we do with our money. For example, tithing. We do tithe with every amount that we are given. We give an amount back because we believe that the money that we have is not actually ours. It is what the Lord has given us and blessed us with and has given us to use and has trusted us to use in a way that is honoring and pleasing to Him and to others. We don't think of it as this is my money that I worked really hard for. We think of it, this is what the Lord has blessed us with. How can we use it in a way that pleases the Lord? He might ask us to like sell something and give the money to somebody else or give something that we have to somebody else.
To answer the question simply is just to keep in mind that the money isn't ours and to take into consideration that and prepare to give it where God wants it to be given.
Like, it's not bad to indulge in something if you can afford it. If the Lord asks you to give that up, could you give that up? Question I have to ask myself on the daily. Wow, okay, it's getting worse.
I know, it's getting insanely bright. You'd have to bump the f-stop because the
The
app...
shutter speed. You look fine.
Do I?
Why is it that I'm always glowing? I'm not that much paler than you.
Maybe we'll just do it in audio. Maybe just like have a picture of like our family and then just have us talking.
Tips on staying content with what we have when money is tight and can't afford things we want. Don't go to where, no. What are the words that I'm looking for? Do you know what I'm trying to say? Don't go where you will be tempted.
Yeah, that's more or less what I was just gonna say. Don't tempt, go where temptation.
Words. This is gonna sound so cheesy and slow cliche, but count your blessings. I feel almost stupid for saying that, but seriously, look at what you have. Change your mindset from what you don't have and look at what you do have. And the same goes for a marriage. Like, this is advice that I've given myself is stop looking at what Zach isn't doing. I need to work on this.
What's the next
and
part?
start looking at what he is doing and appreciate all that he does do because you do lots for me.
Do.
The same goes for budgeting. Stop looking at everything that you want and start looking at what you already do have. Does one person handle the finances more than the other, or is everything done together?
I would say I more so do, because the bills come to my email and I pay them, I guess. But with having a shared account, you're obviously aware of everything that's being paid. So
I feel like you have a better understanding of finances, because everything just goes right over my head. Like, even when we meet with our financial advisor, I don't get a word that he says.
Yeah.
I mean, we're both aware of what's going on, but I would say you are more in charge of it. You pay the bills.
Yeah, separate but together.
How can you afford Canada's cold temperatures, and how do you keep your house warm enough? This, like, I was kind of surprised to read this question.
It's an interesting question.
Because it's all we've ever known. But you think about it, there are so many of you who live where it's warm all the time and you have no idea what cold temperatures are like.
And our question is, do you have a furnace in your house? Probably not. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Do people in California or in warm states have furnaces?
I don't know. See,
you?
that's how we keep warm, is a furnace in our house. It's unheard of to not have a furnace.
Should we explain what a furnace is for the people that don't know?
I think everyone knows what a furnace is. Like, you couldn't survive here without a furnace. It gets down to -50, so
Celsius.
it gets cold. That's how we keep our house warm enough, but the cost, you know more about the cost because you pay the bills.
Typically, cost for gas for us is about $60 a month for natural gas, but that's also with our hot water heater because it also uses natural gas.
Oh.
So like in the summer it's down to like $30 to $35 a month because we're not using our furnace obviously in the summer, but in the winter it usually doubles.
But it's also different depending on what kind of furnace you have, how big your house is,
Yeah,
how often it runs.
It goes, yeah, exactly.
How well your house is sealed. Another thing though with winter and it being cold is the cost of driving. Especially where we live, like we can't just walk to the store. Even if we lived really, really close to the grocery store, we wouldn't go walk there in -50 weather. The cost of vehicles is huge and very important in order to survive. Really, like, could we live without a vehicle?
I wish we could.
I mean, maybe if we lived in the heart of the city.
Where we live, our city doesn't really have a transportation system.
Not really.
There's buses, and most cities like Vancouver or Toronto, like they have subways and an actual proper means of getting around the city.
Yeah.
And that's something we also don't have. Are we answering the questions that they're, are we just
so.
rambling on about?
Well, a bit of both. What are some things you have chosen to cut out in order to save money? Honestly, we haven't had to cut out a lot of stuff because from the moment that we were married until recently, we haven't had a lot of money to play with. So we have been very intentional and smart about how we spend our money and what we choose to spend our money on. I did film a video a while back. I think it was 50 things that we stopped buying to save money. I'll leave that video linked below. It's a really good one if you're looking for things that you can cut out in order to save money. Those are 50 suggestions, not saying you have to follow all of them. But for example, this is something people were very, very angry that I mentioned that I don't buy books.
I think that was misinterpreted.
I personally just don't read a lot of books. I would love to, but I don't. If I were to read books, I'd just go to the library instead. So that's an example, like if you were having to cut stuff out of the budget, maybe only treat yourself to a book on occasion, put it on the Christmas list, and go to the library instead. Maybe cut out some subscriptions. The only subscription we had was Netflix for a long time. We have never had cable. We recently got a Spotify subscription now that we have dual income.
So
it's
we
a
have
little
2
perk.
subscriptions.
But we would cut that out in a heartbeat if Zach was laid off, if I lost my job. We haven't cut out a ton of stuff, but we live below our means and we don't... What am I trying to say?
Story of the whole video. What am I trying to say?
What am I trying to say? Anyways, that's the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something from this video.
If you have any other questions, maybe write them in below and I'll answer some. When we write, we can have put together better answers because we can get our thoughts together.
We're not very good at like
on the spot.
Answering on the spot.
Yeah, it's socially awkward.
There's probably so many things that we forget. I am so socially awkward.
Yeah.
Probably a lot of things we forgot to mention. If you have any more questions, comment them down below. Zach will get back to you.
You bet.
Thank you again to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. If you want to follow me over on Instagram, if you want to be involved in videos like this, asking me questions, getting them answered in videos, go follow me over there. If you want to see more, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell as well so you don't miss out on any new videos. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one.
Don't forget to clink the link.
Okay, no thumbnail. good enough.
I've been more.
I'm not
because-
good with words.
What's the title of this video gonna be? We have no idea what we're doing.
How to budget when you have no idea what you're doing.
How to pretend like you budget. Get a financial advisor.
Done. That could have been so simple.
Yeah.